Hey everybody, welcome to our very first Did that fix it? Can you guys hear me now? All right. Okay. So, let me repeat that. Okay, so this is our first improvisation class. And so improvising all the way back through the years, in each different culture, when you start studying cultures around the world, we all kind of approach music differently. So music has been prevalent in every culture going back hundreds of years. And in Western culture, which is Europe and the United States, where we are, music has been fundamentally based on reading off of a sheet of paper. But that's not as common in other cultures. A lot of other cultures don't read music off a sheet of paper. They just play the music that they hear, and they're really good at hearing what everyone else is playing and being able to play the same thing at the same time as them. And as you become a more advanced musician, it becomes really, really important in our culture too. Whether you're someone that maybe you want to go to school, you want to go to college for jazz music, improvisation is really, really important. And honestly, the cool pop star jobs where you're maybe you're gonna go play trumpet with a pop artist, you want to go play trumpet with Beyonce, or you want to play violin with Lizzo, or something like that. All of those people, a lot of what they're doing is not reading off of a sheet of paper. They're improvising. They're hearing what the other people are playing and playing off of that based on what they know in their head. Marching band, marching band is super, super fun. I did marching band for a couple of years. Marching band tends to be more reading off sheets of paper. But you do have to, in marching band, you read it off a sheet of paper and then you have to memorize it. And so memorizing will help with that also. But improvisation is great, and it's a great thing to start and to do. I love just picking up my horn first thing in the morning and just playing whatever I feel like playing some notes, see what sounds good together. But there are some tools that we can really focus on to help us and kind of guide us along this path of learning how to play what our ear hears. Okay? So the first thing I want to check out is the pentatonic scale. So penta, if you guys know your shapes, pentagon, how many sides is that? See if someone can get that in the comments. How many sides is a pentagon? Waiting. 5, exactly, good. So penta, the abbreviation, means 5. And so pentatonic scale is gonna mean that there are 5 notes that we're playing in this scale. Only 5, that's it. So find your instrument there, because as you guys know, different instruments have different keys. So find your instrument, and then let's see if we can play through this pentatonic scale. Alright. Alright, instruments up. Let's play this first note together. 1, 2, play it slowly. Next note. These 5 notes are a really good basis for starting improvisation. So we've got a few notes here. I'm going to put on a backing track really quick. I have this really cool app on my phone because I like improvising a lot. And so I have this app called iReal Pro, and all I do is I type in the song, and it has all of the chords on it, and all I have to do is click play, and I can choose how long, how many times I want this to play through, what key I want it in, how fast I want it. Alright, so right now, I've just got a B-flat blues, which is going to be concert B-flat blues. And we're going to be able to play some of these notes over it. So I want you to pick one note while I play this and just come up with some different rhythmic ideas on that one note. Okay? So I will, I'm going to use the first note in this scale. Yeah, you don't have to have a chord or anything. So all you got to do is we're playing one note along with it. Just figure out a rhythm to play. Any random rhythm, okay? Let's see. Hopefully you guys can hear this. Okay? So I'm only going to use that one note and come up with a rhythm along with this. Really simple. I'm already improvising. I'm just thinking of using that one note and coming up with different rhythms. Because a lot of times when you add too many notes in too fast, you forget that there's so much variation that we can do with rhythms. Alright, next, let's just keep adding one in each time. So this next time, I'm going to go between those first 2 notes. I can use either of those first 2 notes. And let's try just playing some ideas with those. Also, one thing I want to point out is just as important as playing is the space that you leave. Do you guys notice how much room I'm putting in between all the different notes that I'm playing? You don't have to play a lot of notes. A lot of times, the most interesting parts in music is the parts where you aren't playing. Believe it or not. Because it really draws the listener's ear. It gives them a chance to hear what you just played, and then you wait a second, and then when you play something else, they're waiting, they're listening, saying oh, what's that next thing that they're going to play? What's that going to be? All right, let's use these first 3 notes of our pentatonic scale. We'll play through this progression again and try this with our first 3 notes. All right. Nick asked, can I play one of my favorite songs to improvise? Absolutely. That is another thing that I love doing. Is I love putting on my favorite pop song or whatever song I really like at the moment. Put that on my speakers, pick up my trumpet, and just try playing notes over it. See what had a good what has a good feel, what notes sound good in that song. Another idea that he just mentioned in the side is maybe you already know the melody to that song and you're improvising. So like Mary Had a Little Lamb, that uses those 3 notes, right? It's let's try playing that. Maybe let's try playing that over this progression once. If you guys remember, Mary Had a Little Lamb, it's just a walk down, starting on that top note. If you want to find it, I think it's in your blue book. I want to say it's around page 9 or somewhere. Let's try it. Oh, let me start this from the beginning. Here we go. So that time I started off, because I know Mary Had a Little Lamb, I started off by playing Mary Had a Little Lamb straight up, and then by the time I got a little ways through it, I thought, you know what, I'm done playing Mary Had a Little Lamb. I'm going to start making up something of my own and just playing that instead. Alright, we've got 2 more notes to add in. This time, let's look at our first 4 notes. Alright, so this time we're skipping a note. Normally our first 5 notes, we're going up, but we're skipping that 4th note of our first 5 notes, okay? So let's try this. Skipping that 4th note, going up. Here we go. Notes 1, 2, 3, and 4 in the pentatonic. Alright, all 5 notes. Are you guys ready? So take a look at what that last note is that we're going to be adding in. First thing you could do, you could try just walking straight up and then walking straight down, throw in some rhythmic variation. Once you get comfortable, start skipping around those notes too. Let's get as creative as we can, see how many different variations we can use on this. I'm going to go through 2 choruses this time, alright? So it's going to be twice as long. Here we go. Nice. So if you guys notice too, I actually threw in, during that, I threw in an A. For me, it's an A. For everyone else, that last note. I threw in that last note an octave lower as part of it. So I'm still playing that note, I'm just playing it an octave lower. So you can play these 5 notes in any octave that you want. Okay, so for me, At my disposal, I've got all of these when I throw in all the octaves. That's a lot of different notes. Just because I'm using different octaves, but I've still only got 5 notes that I'm playing. Alright, so these are some really cool tools that you guys can start doing some improvisation with. In this last little bit that we have, I want to introduce something a little bit more advanced, just in case any of you guys want to tackle it. So if you look in, there's a link at the bottom of this video. It's a Google Drive link. And you will find a link to this song. This song is called The Blues Walk. It's by a very famous jazz trumpet player, Clifford Brown. And I actually made a YouTube video that you can play along to this song with. So it'll start with this sheet music with the intro, and then in jazz we call it the head. We don't call it the melody. We call it the head of the song, which is just the main section. So in jazz music, it's a lot of people maybe don't understand it because of just the way that the format is. It's not your, like, in a pop song, we're just playing from the beginning to the end. We've got our verse, we've got our chorus, verse, chorus, maybe chorus again, and then it's over. But in a jazz song, what you do is, so maybe you'll, typically, so we have your head, which is the main part of the song that we're playing. And then after the head, we have solos. So maybe we have 1 solo, maybe we have 2 solos, doesn't matter. We stack all the solos, however many solos we're going to take. And then once we're done playing solos, we play that head one last time. So when you understand how jazz music is organized, it makes it a lot easier to listen to. And sometimes you'll throw like an intro at the beginning or an outro at the end. Okay? So for this one, I can send a link to my YouTube video too that I made as a play along. You're just going to be following the music. So we've got our intro, we've got a head that we're going to play, and then there's time for you to solo. You guys can use those pentatonic notes that we just learned. Those are going to be great for this. And then after you solo, I threw in a clip of me playing one of my favorite solos on it. This is a solo by Clifford Brown. So I'll be playing that, and then we're all going to play the head again at the end of this, okay? So let me throw on this backing track. This is the C lead sheet for C instruments. But it'll be labeled by your instrument in that folder. So again, our C instruments are our ukuleles, piano, cello, violin, flute. B flat instruments. If you're a trumpet player or a clarinet player, you're going to be looking for B flat. E flat is going to be our alto sax players. You're going to want that E flat sheet. And then G for our P bone people. So just to repeat that one more time, if you are a flute or a violin, a ukulele, cello, piano, go for the C lead sheet, which is what I have on the screen right now. If you're not one of those in the Google Drive, for our clarinet and trumpet players, we have our B flat lead sheet. For our alto saxophone players, we have our E flat lead sheet. And for our P bone players, our G lead sheet. Okay? Alright, I'm just going to play through this with you guys, and if you want to try and follow along, please do. And then we will maybe end this with a little bit of soloing over this. Nice. This is a great song. So if you're up for the challenge, feel free to learn this song. I've got that recording to help you. If you do listen to Clifford's original version, just a warning, it is a lot faster. I slowed this down a lot so that we can play it because it's a good song. But it's definitely worth checking out. This is one of my favorite songs. Use that pentatonic scale. If you want to, just look up, you can just play that pentatonic scale to any blues backing track. You can play it to this backing track that I made and just skip over the head part and then just play during that solo part. And I would love to hear that. So please take a video of yourself and email it to us so that I can give you guys some tips on your improvisation, see how you guys are doing. And otherwise, if there aren't any questions, I will see you guys next week. All right? All right, have a good one. Ciao, everybody.